Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's mystery is cold. Cold in temperature, cold in evidence, and honestly, cold in how little the world still understands about it. This is the story of the 9 young hikers who walked into the Ural Mountains of Russia in 1959 and left behind one of the strangest unsolved cases on Earth. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident. Our story starts with Igor Dyatlov, a brilliant, disciplined engineering student from Ural Polytechnic Institute. He put together a team of 9 other experienced hikers, athletes, radio operators, engineers, people who lived for this kind of adventure. They were young, skilled, and tough. Exactly the kind of people who don't just panic and run from their tent. 10 hikers set out. 1. Ural got sick early and turned back. The 9 who continued would never return. Their route took them toward the frigid northern Ural Mountains. On the way, due to worsening weather, they camped on the slope of a mountain the local Mansi tribe called Holad Seachel, which translates to Dead Mountain. Temperatures dropped to -25 or even -30 degrees Celsius. Heavy winds, snow, whiteouts. Still, the hikers made camp calmly. They cooked dinner, wrote in their journals, took photos. Everything seemed normal. And then, something happened inside that tent. Something terrifying enough to send them running into the night with no boots, no coats, and no time to open the tent normally. Rescue teams searched for weeks. On February 26th, they found the tent, collapsed, half buried, cut open from the inside. All the hikers' belongings were still there: boots, jackets, gloves, food, gear, untouched. No sign of another group, no animal tracks, just 9 set of footprints leading away, some barefoot, some in socks, one person wearing a single shoe, and all footprints headed into the woods. Under a cedar tree, 1.5 kilometers from the tent, searchers found 2 hikers, Krivonishenko and Doroshenko. They were wearing almost nothing. Their hands were shredded as if they had desperately tried to climb the tree, either for safety or to look back towards the tent. A small fire had been made, but not strong enough to keep them alive. Further up the slope, 3 more hikers, Dyatlov, Kolmogorova, and Solobodin, were found spread out as though they tried to crawl back to the tent. No major wounds, they simply froze. The remaining 4 hikers, buried deeper in the snow, would tell a different story entirely. Months later, when the snow melted, the final 4 were discovered in a ravine. Their injuries were not ordinary. One had a fractured skull, others had multiple broken ribs. One had a severe chest trauma equal to a car crash. A female hiker was missing her eyes and tongue. Some clothing was strangely radioactive. But here's the strange part. There were no external cuts or bruises explaining the bone-crushing injuries. It looked like blunt force trauma without the blunt force. This is the part of the case that still haunts people. Let's go through the major theories, from scientific to wild. Rather than a dramatic Hollywood avalanche, some scientists believe a compact slab of snow shifted during the night and pressed against the tent. Not enough to wipe out the campsite, but enough to crush the part of the tent, scare trained hikers into thinking a bigger avalanche was coming, forced them to cut their way out and run down slope. This explains the sudden exit, but doesn't fully explain the devastating injuries in the ravine. This is one of the darker theories. Some people believe the hikers unknowingly entered an area where the Soviet military was testing experimental weapons, especially parachute mines, which explode in the air. These explosions can cause internal injuries, concussions, disorientation, panic, strange lights in the sky. Locals reported seeing glowing orbs that night, which keeps this theory alive. Still, no hard evidence has ever been found. This theory suggests the local Mansi people might have attacked the hikers for trespassing on sacred land. Here's the key thing. The Mansi are not known historically as violent or aggressive. This theory exists only because people looked for explanations. There was no sign of struggle, no foreign footprints, and no cultural history of Mansi harming outsiders. But still, some speculate that territorial resentment or a misunderstanding could have escalated. Again, there's no evidence, but it remains one of the theories people discuss. Strong winds hitting the mountain can create infrasound, a low frequency vibration that humans can't hear but can feel. It can cause intense anxiety, paranoia, panic, hallucinations, and a sense of impending doom. This matches the behavior inside the tent: sudden irrational escape, confusion, and splitting up. It doesn't explain the physical injuries, but it explains the panic perfectly. Hypothermia is one of the most important parts of Dyatlov mystery. When the hikers fled into the cold without proper clothing, their bodies began losing heat fast. Hypothermia doesn't just make you cold, it messes with your brain. The symptoms include confusion, loss of judgment, irrational decisions, stripping off clothes or paradoxical undressing, hallucinations, stumbling, inability to tell direction. Some of the hikers probably became disoriented and collapsed. Others may have separated in confusion, and in the dark, blinded by snow, the ravine became a deadly trap they couldn't see. Hypothermia didn't cause everything, but it shaped everything. Devil's Pass, a found-footage horror film where a group of students retrace the Dyatlov route. Directed by Rennie Harlin, the same guy who directed Cliffhanger and Nightmare on Elm Street 4. This movie is extremely fictional. It includes time travel, mutated human creatures, government conspiracies, and alternate dimensions. None of it matches the real case of the Dyatlov Pass Incident, but it's fun if you like wild horror twists. Tales Beyond the Tomb, Episode 4, White Silence. This 2025 walking simulator horror game directly takes inspiration from Dyatlov Pass Incident, but it focuses more on the psychological horror, especially the idea of hallucinating wind phenomena. You play as Alexei Morozov, an investigator retracing a lost expedition in a freezing mountain. The environment itself becomes the enemy. The wind whispers, the snow distorts vision, and your character slowly loses grip on reality. It doesn't tell you what happened. It tries to make you feel the mystery. It tries to make you feel how terrifying that night must have been. Highly recommend if you like psychological slow burn horror. The Dyatlov Pass Incident has everything. Nature at its most brutal. Unexplained injuries, missing body parts, radiation, panic without reason, 9 brilliant young adults making choices that don't make sense, and no single theory that explains every detail. It's the perfect mystery, one with just enough evidence to keep you thinking and just enough contradictions to keep you guessing forever. What do you think happened that night? Let me know in the comments, and if you like this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more mysteries.